In this video, we're going to be saving you from throwing away your 3DS. I'm your host, Jake, and you're watching The Game Room. Our story starts in 1979, where the Milton Bradley Company invented the Microvision. It was the first style of handheld that had interchangeable games and you could take anywhere, put it in your pocket or your backpack. It worked sort of like a Game Boy, which overtook it later on. And after a couple of years, Nintendo decided to work on something new, bringing us to 2003 and 2004, which gave us our revolutionary 3DS. The glorious Nintendo 3DS. It's an amazing console. It is the biggest, and if not one of the biggest handheld consoles that exists to this day. Sure, it's got some cons. It's old. It's kind of uncomfy to hold. I don't like holding it all the time. And they're still pretty expensive. But to overweigh these cons, we've got some pros. Not only is it still modern, kind of, but it also has that classic feel. You're still able to play some of your favorite childhood games. And we've also got the fact that you don't even have to pay for any of the games anymore, with a little fun trick called modding, which we will be getting to later in the video. But how can we compare this to something as dope as the new generation of handhelds? So our new gen handhelds, we have the Steam Deck and the Asus ROG. They're amazing consoles. They have the power of a $2,000 PC, and they run great. Because I only own a Steam Deck, we're going to be focusing on that for this video, because that's what I know. So let's talk about some pros. It has access to unlimited amounts of games. You have AAA and indie games all to your disposal. And there's so many choices. It can even run Baldur's Gate, Elden Ring, and Starfield, and other high-performance games smooth as butter, and still in 4K. Not to mention our desktop mode that turns your console into a computer, and you can connect your keyboard and mouse and use it as a mini laptop. But as great as it seems, we still have some cons. The Steam Deck can commonly overheat, and it starts playing the fans, and they can be pretty loud sometimes. Just listen to this clip of my Steam Deck's fans. So yeah, it can get pretty loud. Not to mention, when you're playing all of your games like Elden Ring, Starfield, and Baldur's Gate 3, it'll drain your battery very quickly. So you're stuck plugged into a wall with your charger while you're playing some of your favorite games. Let's also talk about the fact that we have the Great on Deck section. Great on Deck gives you a little green check mark next to your games to tell you that this game will run perfectly and is compatible with the Steam Deck. If you have a little orange exclamation point, it might work, but you have to do some configuring with the controls. And then we also have the X, I think. It's a white X. And it tells you basically that the game will never work for Steam Deck. And then there's also the question mark with an unfinished circle around it that basically tells you that they haven't even checked it yet, which limits the amount of games that you can play on your Steam Deck because not all of the games are compatible. And now we gotta also mention the price. It's super expensive to own one, but we'll be talking about that more later. Now, let's talk about modding a 3DS. So you're probably wondering, what the heck does it mean to mod your 3DS? And trust me, I got very confused too when I first learned about it. And it's actually a simple, easy process. Modding is basically a way to jailbreak your 3DS, and it unlocks all of the games you want to play. Also gives you emulators, so you can play all of your classic games from PS2, PS3, and all the original Xbox games. And it makes it a lot of fun, and it's a great idea right now because Nintendo just closed the 3DS eShop, which means you can't download games straight from the 3DS company. So modding is your best chance right now. I'll leave a tutorial to mod in the description, and my personal recommendation is to mod an XL console over a normal 3DS console, just because it's easier to mod on the XL, because on the other 3DS you have to pay for softwares and stuff. So if you're gonna mod, get an XL, because it'll be easier for you. That's my personal experience. But yeah, I'll leave a tutorial in the description. You can go check it out if you're interested. But let's go back to talking prices between the 3DS and the Steam Deck. So let's start talking prices. So how much is your normal black 3DS XL? We're doing the XL because we just mentioned modding, so that's the moddable 3DS, at least my personal recommendation. So how much is it? Well, according to the GameStop website, it's going to be around $200. Now, after that, you compare that to a Steam Deck. Now, your Steam Deck on the Steam website, for only 64 gigabytes, is $350. Now, those are just the consoles. Now, what if we want to buy games? Well, let's buy games for your 3DS, because you didn't mod it yet. So, let's buy Pokemon X, Luigi's Mansion, Tomodachi Life, and Mario Kart 7. Buying all of these add up to around $150. So, your total for a black Nintendo 3DS XL with 4 games is $350. The same price for a 64 gigabyte Steam Deck with no games at all. So let's fix that. Let's buy games for our Steam Deck. So let's buy some of the bigger games. Baldur's Gate 3, which is around $60. Elden Ring, which is also $60. And Skyrim, which is $40. Now, this is already bringing your price at $160 for those 3 games. And your total is now $510 for a small Steam Deck with 3 games. Now, what if we choose to mod our 3DS XL instead? Get rid of all the games, then you only have to pay $200 for your 3DS, but you still have to pay the same price for your Steam Deck. And so you look at the difference between the costs, and it's a $310 difference. Now, it's just me saying, but that seems like a pretty big comparison. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't buy a Steam Deck, and I'm not talking against the new generation handhelds. They're all great consoles, and I love playing with them personally. And I'm not saying that you should buy a 3DS instead of them, because the 3DS, as fun as it is and as cheap as it is, it's not, like, really good. But what I am saying is that if you're new to the gaming on a handheld and you just want to get something new and cheap and fun, buy a 3DS and mod it. It's a lot more fun. You get an unlimited amount of games. It's a good way to start your handheld collection if you're gonna try and do that. But the Steam Deck is definitely stronger if you're looking to get some more advanced games. It's a lot of money. It's expensive, but I would say it's pretty worth it in the end. You get a good amount, but don't buy a 65 gigabyte. It's not gonna give you a lot. Anyways, that's all for this episode of The Game Room. Feel free to subscribe to the Shock Entertainment channel to see more episodes of this show and more episodes of other shows. If you enjoy gaming content and want to see more, we actually have a gaming channel called Storm Enterprise, and you can go ahead and subscribe to that using the link in the description. Join our Discord, follow our Instagram. You can check out our writers. Some of them have YouTube channels, and all of those links will be down in the description, so you can go check them out. Feel free to like the video and comment your personal recommendation for a handheld gaming console. But that'll be the end of this episode. Thank you for watching The Game Room.